Fox 32 has information indicating the FBI has launched an investigation into controversial Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
Dane Placco has been following allegations of her misspending and joins us now with an update. Dane.
The store came here to the gas station. It's on his live. All the evidence is on this boy's live. Okay. He said, "Oh, I got him now. I'm gonna pull up now," and jump out. He jumped off the car. He was recording it with his phone. Walked up to our car, and then we was bagging out. We pulled over right here, and it should be on their cameras too, so you'll see.
I'm happy that justice is being...
In the heart of South Chicago, a storm was brewing. The once revered super mayor Tiffany Henyard found herself at the center of a maelstrom that threatened to tear apart the very fabric of her carefully crafted image. The FBI, after months of meticulous surveillance, finally pounced, exposing a web of deceit that left the community reeling. Henyard's fall from grace was as spectacular as it was devastating. The woman who once strutted through the streets of Dolton, Illinois, in a taxpayer-funded motorcade now faced the grim prospect of trading her designer suits for prison garb. The charges against her read like a laundry list of betrayal, 22 federal indictments, each more damning than the last. But this wasn't Henyard's first dance with the law. Her past brushes with justice for vehicle trespassing now seemed like mere footnotes compared to the epic saga of corruption unfolding before the public's eyes. The scale of her alleged misdeeds was staggering. Millions of dollars, earmarked for the betterment of Dolton, had seemingly vanished into thin air. As the investigation deepened, a portrait emerged of a leader consumed by greed and drunk on power. While Dolton's coffers dwindled at an alarming rate, Henyard lived like royalty, her lavish lifestyle a stark contrast to the struggles of those she was meant to serve. The transformation of the town's finances under her watch was nothing short of astonishing. From prosperity to poverty in just 1 year, the revelations kept coming, each more outrageous than the last. Henyard's spending sprees and jet-setting adventures painted a picture of a small-town mayor with delusions of grandeur, treating public funds as her personal piggy bank. The good people of Dolton were left to wonder, how could someone entrusted with their future betray them so completely? A whirlwind shopping spree that would make even the most seasoned shopaholic blush. On a single day in September 2023, our illustrious mayor decided to treat herself to a little retail therapy, to the tune of $7,700 at Target, Walgreens, and Wayfair. But here's the kicker. She wasn't swiping her own plastic, oh no. This shopping bonanza was courtesy of Dolton's long-suffering taxpayers. But why stop at mere earthbound extravagance? Henyard took her lavish lifestyle to new heights, quite literally. First-class flights became her norm, because apparently, the weight of all that misappropriated cash was too much for Coach. And let's not forget the professional hair and makeup team she hired. After all, when you're running a town into financial ruin, you've got to look fabulous doing it, right? In just 1 year, this administrative tornado managed to turn Dolton's comfortable $5.6 million surplus into a $3.6 million deficit. That's not just bad bookkeeping, that's financial alchemy of the worst kind. The situation got so dire that the powers that be had to revoke Henyard's village credit card privileges. Imagine that. A mayor getting her allowance cut off like a teenager who maxed out dad's visa. But wait, there's more. Henyard's generosity with public funds extended to her family too. The crown jewel of her nepotistic spending spree? A cool $561,000 to repave her mother's driveway. That's not a typo, folks. Over $500,000 for one driveway. It's enough to make you wonder if they paved it with gold bricks and unicorn tears. And just when you thought it couldn't get any more outrageous, Henyard decided to turn Dolton's police force into her personal errand runners and security detail.
We needed those officers to be on the street fighting crime. And instead, we have several officers that are riding around protecting.
A town left wondering if there's anyone left to answer a 911 call while their mayor parades around like she's got her own secret service detail. But Henyard, ever the rebel, wasn't about to let a little thing like rules rain on her parade. Even after getting her financial privileges revoked by the Illinois State Comptroller for what can only be described as a spending spree of epic proportions, Henyard decided to throw caution and a whole lot of cash to the wind. She orchestrated a party for Dolton that would make Marie Antoinette blush. We're talking $50,000 for just an hour of performances, with Kiki Wyatt and Jay Holiday pocketing $30,000 and $20,000 respectively for mere 30-minute sets. And let's not forget the cherry on top of this fiscal Sunday, $6,600 spent on bounce houses. Bounce houses. The residents of Dolton, unsurprisingly, were less than thrilled. Jennifer Roberts summed up the collective outrage perfectly. "That's my money. That's the people's money." Former trustee Valeria Stubbs didn't pull any punches either, calling the event a total flop with a turnout that wouldn't even fill a school bus. Another resident, Sher Britton, painted a picture of a mayor so narcissistic that only handcuffs might finally put an end to her reign of financial terror. But while everyone was focused on the FBI investigation and the angry mob of taxpayers, they missed the real bombshell lurking in the shadows. Enter Carmen Carril, Henyard's former right-hand woman, and the unexpected plot twist in this political drama. For 2 years, Carril had a front-row seat to the mayoral madness, watching as Dolton's coffers were emptied faster than a clearance rack on Black Friday. Something in Carril snapped. Maybe it was a crisis of conscience, or perhaps she just got tired of being an accessory to Dolton's systematic pillaging. Whatever the reason, Carril decided to flip the script. She went from being Henyard's trusted sidekick to her worst nightmare, marching straight to the feds with enough evidence to make even the most hardened investigator's jaw drop. Carmen Carril steps into the spotlight, ready to spill enough tea to fill Lake Michigan. This former right-hand woman didn't just open Pandora's box, she blew it wide open with a stick of dynamite. Carril painted a picture of Dolton that looked less like a town and more like Henyard's personal ATM, with the mayor manipulating everyone from employees to vendors like puppets on strings. But Carril's whistleblowing came at a price. No sooner had she started singing than she found herself on the wrong end of what can only be described as a not-so-subtle message. We're not talking about a strongly worded email here, folks. This was a physical attack that had conspiracy theorists working overtime. While no one's pointing fingers directly, the whispers on the street are loud enough to hear without a megaphone. And Carril wasn't the only rat jumping off this sinking ship. Keith Freeman, another former Henyard aide, found himself in hot water over bankruptcy fraud charges. But here's the kicker. Word on the street is that Freeman's decided to play a little game of let's make a deal with the FBI. Suddenly, Henyard's inner circle is looking about as loyal as a cat in a room full of catnip. Henyard's response to dissent? A masterclass in intimidation. Trustees who dared to question her were silenced faster than you can say corruption. And when firing them didn't work, she plastered her face on every available surface in Dolton, from billboards to government buildings. It was like living in a bizarre cult of personality, with Henyard's smile watching over the town like some dystopian big sister. But the real tragedy here isn't just the financial devastation, it's the human cost. Survivors of Henyard's reign are starting to come forward, sharing stories that would make even the most hardened cynic's heart break. We're talking about lives upended, dreams shattered, all in service of one woman's insatiable appetite for power and luxury. Just when Henyard thought she'd dodged the proverbial bullet, she found herself staring down the barrel of an even bigger gun. The walls are closing in, the whispers are turning into shouts, and Dolton's self-styled queen is about to learn a hard lesson about the price of betraying public trust. The FBI swoops in like a financial SWAT team, armed to the teeth with subpoenas instead of guns. We're not talking about a little light reading here. These feds are digging through Henyard's life like they're searching for buried treasure, and they're leaving no stone unturned. Picture this. FBI agents swarming Dolton's town hall, not for the coffee and donuts, but with a hunger for cold, hard facts. They're demanding everything from credit card statements to personnel files, determined to track every penny that might have taken a detour from the town's coffers to Henyard's designer wallet. And let me tell you, these subpoenas are like a gossip magazine's dream come true. They're exposing every juicy detail of Henyard's high-rolling lifestyle. Those fancy trips that would make a jet-setter jealous. The security detail that followed her around like she was royalty, and every dime that mysteriously vanished from the town's budget. But the feds aren't stopping at just official business. Oh no, they're going full Sherlock Holmes on Henyard's personal life too. That cancer charity she's been touting? Under the microscope. Her political action committee? They want to see those books too. Even her private business ventures are getting the third degree. It's like the FBI is playing a high-stakes game of connect the dots with Henyard's finances, and the picture they're seeing is making them raise more than just eyebrows. Trustee Brittany Norwood spilled the tea, saying the town's been begging for a savior to unravel the mystery of Henyard's spending spree. Sounds like Dolton's cries for help finally reached the right ears, and the cavalry's arrived wearing FBI jackets. But here's where it gets really interesting. The feds aren't just zeroing in on Henyard. They're casting a net wide enough to catch a school of political piranhas. Anyone who might have had their fingers in the town's piggy bank is on their radar. And get this, Word on the street is that the FBI's got some high-tech tricks that would make James Bond jealous, using electronic surveillance to catch any sneaky business. Meanwhile, Henyard's still sitting pretty in her mayor's chair, acting like it's just another day at the office. Can you believe the nerve? The town's in an uproar, the feds are circling like sharks, and she's playing it cool like she's got ice in her veins. But just when everyone thought this was going to be a drawn-out battle, Henyard pulls the ultimate plot twist. With the FBI breathing down her neck and her inner circle crumbling faster than a sandcastle in a tsunami, she decides to turn herself in. Our small-town mayor, who's been living large on the taxpayer's dime, suddenly trades in her designer wardrobe for a jailhouse jumpsuit. Talk about a fashion downgrade. Word on the street is that Henyard might have walked right into the FBI's welcoming arms. One minute she's strutting around Dolton like it's her personal kingdom. The next she's potentially turning herself in faster than you can say embezzlement. But hold your horses, folks. Some savvy observers think there's more to this surrender than meets the eye. Rumor has it that Henyard's got an ace up her sleeve. Is she cutting a deal with the feds? Maybe she's ready to sing like a canary about her partners in crime in exchange for a little leniency. It's like watching a high-stakes game of let's make a deal, but with potential prison time on the line. Now, Dolton's residents, they've been holding their breath so long waiting for justice, they could probably set a world record. And when it finally came knocking, boy, did it knock loud. It's like the whole town just collectively exhaled. Remember how Henyard was all about that glam life? Well, seems like she swapped first-class flights for a first-class cell. And get this, her own lawyer just jumped ship. Talk about adding insult to injury. Here's a woman who's been raking in over $220,000 a year, and now she can't even foot her legal bills. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. But let's rewind a bit. How did Henyard climb to such dizzying heights? Turns out, she practically inherited her cushy township supervisor gig, complete with a fat paycheck. And just to make sure no one could challenge her throne, she tried to pull a fast one by slashing the next supervisor's salary to a measly $25,000. Talk about rigging the game. The town's been in an uproar for years, with residents practically begging for someone to step in and clean up this mess. Things got so bad they're even calling in Lori Lightfoot, yes, the former Chicago mayor, at a cool $400 an hour. When you're bringing in Chicago to fix your corruption problem, you know you've hit rock bottom. With Dolton drowning in nearly $20 million of debt, the townspeople are desperate for a hero. But even with Henyard potentially behind bars, those missing millions aren't going to magically reappear. It's like trying to find water in a desert. That cash has probably long dried up. And let's not forget the cherry on top of this corruption sundae. Henyard once splurged $440,000 on Amazon in a single day. Talk about a shopping spree. Now, she's swapped online retail therapy for a date with federal investigators. This is the reality in Dolton, Illinois, where Mayor Tiffany Henyard's alleged misdeeds have pushed the community to its breaking point. The situation has become so dire that the state comptroller halted a crucial $135,000 payment, leaving Dolton in financial turmoil. But Henyard's troubles extend far beyond fiscal mismanagement. A former employee, Dwayne Thrash, has filed a lawsuit claiming wrongful termination after refusing to participate in one of the mayor's alleged schemes. The accusations don't stop there. Sexual misconduct, wrongful terminations, and even sexual assault allegations have tarnished Henyard's reputation. As the community holds its breath, uncertainty looms over whether Henyard has actually surrendered to authorities. Speculation runs rampant, with some wondering if she's negotiating a deal or protecting higher-ups. The growing frustration is evident in residents' comments questioning why she hasn't been jailed or removed from office. Despite the mounting pressure, Henyard shows no signs of backing down. The town now faces an uphill battle, grappling with both leadership and financial crises. However, a glimmer of hope shines through the chaos. For the first time in recent memory, Dolton's citizens can envision a future free from what they perceive as corrupt leadership. As this gripping saga unfolds, one can't help but wonder, what's next for Dolton? With their mayor potentially facing legal consequences and their coffers running dry, the road to recovery seems long and arduous. Yet, there's a palpable sense of optimism in the air, as if the community can finally begin to heal now that the alleged Queen of Corruption may be dethroned.